The Silence Before Dawn, Chapter 1, Echoes in the Void, October 4th, 1967. The metallic tang of fear and ozone hung thick in the cramped control bunker deep beneath the steppes of Kazakhstan. Colonel Yuri Volkov, sweat beading on his brow despite the chill, watched the flickering green radar screen of the newly operational Zarya deep space tracking array. 10 years after Sputnik's beep, the space race was a grinding stalemate. A silent war fought with rockets and rhetoric. Tonight was different. Zarya wasn't tracking a Soviet lunar probe or an American surveyor. It was fixed on a faint, anomalous return near the trailing Lagrange point L5 of the Earth-Moon system, a region stable but rarely visited by human hardware. Confirming trajectory, Colonel. Lieutenant Petrova muttered, her voice tight. Object designated L5 Echo. Mass negligible. Size less than a meter. Velocity near zero relative to L5. No known scheduled launches match this profile. American? Volkov grunted. Or ours, and someone forgot the memo. He leaned closer. Signature? Composition? Low radar cross-section, almost stealth-like. Composition indeterminate. Minimal thermal signature. It's inert, like a rock, but wrong orbit. Across the globe, 12 hours later, Dr. Eris Thorne hunched over a bank of oscilloscopes and reel-to-reel tape recorders at Green Bank, West Virginia. Project Stargazer, America's answer to Soviet deep space tracking, focused on the quieter frequencies, searching for whispers amidst the cosmic static. Thorne, a brilliant but perpetually weary astrophysicist, haunted by Fermi's question, "Where is everybody?" was calibrating a new high-gain receiver array when his graduate student, Ben Carter, burst in. "Doc, look at the 1.42 gigahertz band." Carter shoved a fresh printout across the cluttered desk. "It's structured. Not noise. Coming from L5. Thorne adjusted his glasses, peering at the squiggles. It wasn't Morse, not like Sputnik's triumphant beep. It was a sequence of pulses, short, long pauses, repeating with unnatural precision on the hydrogen line frequency, the universe's most obvious channel. A chill unrelated to the mountain air seeped into his bones. Structure. Intelligence? The thought was vertiginous. He grabbed the phone. "Get me NORAD. Priority Alpha. Tell them Stargazer has a candidate, and it's here." Chapter 2, The Burden of Knowing, October 5th to 7th. The news, contained within top-secret code-word channels, detonated like a silent nuke in the corridors of power. In Moscow's Presidium, grim-faced men argued over vodka and maps. In the Pentagon's war room, generals traced potential missile trajectories towards L5. In Langley, analysts pored over grainy Zarya telemetry and Stargazer spectrograms. Paranoia, the Cold War's default state, metastasized. Volkov found himself summoned before General Secretary Brezhnev himself, the air thick with smoke and suspicion. "This object, Colonel. American trick? Provocation?" "Sir," Volkov replied, standing rigidly, "the signal structure is unlike any known terrestrial encoding. Its origin point, it appears dormant, but the signal emanates from it. The Americans detected it independently. Our analysts concur. Non-terrestrial origin is the most probable hypothesis." He paused. "Probability." 92%. Brezhnev's eyes narrowed. "Probability is not certainty, Colonel. We must assume the Americans see this as an opportunity, or a weapon. Prepare Cosmos 186 for intercept and rendezvous. Maximum discretion." In Washington, Thorne faced a similar grilling by the National Security Council. President Johnson, weary from Vietnam, looked haunted. "Doctor, are you telling me little green men parked a calling card in our backyard?" "Not men, Mr. President," Thorne said. Forcing calm. "An artifact. A probe, most likely. Ancient, perhaps. The signal is simple, repetitive. A beacon, maybe. Or a diagnostic pulse. Its technology, inert, radiation-hardened. Silicon-based structures are likely, given the environment. It's not broadcasting threats. It's just there. announcing its presence. Admiral Connolly, head of the Navy, slammed a fist on the table. "It's a damn Trojan horse! We need to grab it before the Reds do. Send a Gemini with Marvel." Manned asteroid rendezvous vehicle, experimental. Thorne countered. "Admiral, this is potentially the single most significant discovery in human history. Rushing in with guns blazing could destroy it, or provoke something we don't understand. We need science first." The president held up a hand. "Science and deniability. We talk to the Soviets, unofficially, through Geneva. Tell them we both see it. Propose joint investigation. Under mutual observation." The room erupted in protest. Johnson silenced them. "The alternative is racing each other to grab God knows what, and maybe starting World War III over a hunk of alien scrap. We talk." Chapter 3. The Geneva Gambit, October 10th to 15th, 1967. The clandestine meeting in a Geneva safe house was icy. Volkov, representing the USSR's Academy of Sciences and the GRU, faced Thorne, representing NASA and the CIA. An American diplomat and a Soviet one sat like statues, observing. "The object is designated Artifact L5 Alpha," Thorne began, projecting Stargazer data. "Its signal is constant, non-directed. We believe it's a low-power automated beacon, possibly millions of years old. Composition analysis suggests sophisticated ceramics and crystalline silicon structures, heavily shielded. No propulsion signature detected since arrival." Volkov nodded curtly, laying out Zarya's radar profiles. "We concur on fundamentals. Our Cosmos 186 intercept mission is ready for launch in 72 hours. We propose a joint mission profile. Soviet vehicle provides primary rendezvous and hard dock capability. American vehicle provides secondary observation and enhanced scientific instrumentation." It was a gamble, letting the Soviets get hands-on first. Thorne knew the subtext. The Soviets had the proven automated docking tech from Soyuz tests. The Americans had better sensors. Mutual distrust enforced cooperation. "Agreed," Thorne said, the word heavy. "Mission parameters. Remote inspection only. No physical contact unless unanimously agreed by joint science team. Continuous data stream to both ground controls. Designated secure comms channel." The diplomats exchanged glances, then nodded. The Geneva Accord was born, a fragile truce over an alien enigma. Back in Baikonur and Cape Canaveral, engineers worked frantically to integrate hastily modified probes, the Soviet Soyuz L unmanned variant, and the American Orion M, a modified lunar orbiter bus, both equipped with cameras, spectrometers, and simple manipulator arms designed for sample return, now repurposed for delicate inspection. Chapter 4. First Contact, October 20th, 1967. The tension was palpable in both control centers. Soyuz L approached first, its thrusters flaring gently against a starfield. Its cameras resolved the artifact, not a sleek saucer, but an irregular, pitted ovoid, roughly the size of a small car. Its surface was a mosaic of dark, glassy panels, interspersed with metallic protrusions that might be sensors or antennae. No visible seams, no ports. It looked like a meteorite sculpted by unnatural forces. Orion M maneuvered to a parallel station-keeping position, its high-resolution cameras zooming in. Thorne, watching the feed in Green Bank, gasped. The pitted surface wasn't random. Under magnification, intricate geometric patterns emerged, fractals within fractals, etched into the glassy material with impossible precision. They shimmered faintly under Orion M's floodlights. "The patterns," Ben Carter whispered. "They're changing? Responding to the light?" Indeed, the illuminated areas seemed to ripple subtly, the fractal depths reconfiguring like liquid crystal. The artifact's constant 1.42 GHz pulse remained unchanged. Volkov, in Kaliningrad control, authorized the next step. Soyuz L extended its manipulator arm, tipped with a suite of microsensors. As the sensor head neared the surface, mere centimeters away, the artifact reacted. Not violently, but definitively. A section of the fractal pattern directly beneath the sensor head flowed open like dark mercury, revealing an aperture. From within, a complex, articulated crystalline structure emerged, not mechanical, but grown, like a quartz flower. It pulsed once with a deep blue internal light, directly towards the sensor. Soyuz L's radiation detector spiked briefly, then normalized. Spectrometer readings went wild, then stabilized. The crystalline appendage retracted, the surface flowing seamlessly shut. The 1.42 GHz pulse continued unchanged. Silence hung heavy. It wasn't hostile. It was responsive, aware. Chapter 5. The Language of Light. October 21st to 31st, 1967. The data dump was overwhelming. The blue pulse wasn't just light. It contained modulated information across multiple wavelengths, a burst of complex data piggybacking on the visual signal. The fractal patterns responded dynamically to external stimuli. Light, radio pulses, even the weak magnetic field of the probes. In a hastily established joint data center at CERN, neutral ground, scientists from East and West pored over the results. Dr. Elena Petrova, no relation to the lieutenant, a brilliant Soviet linguist specializing in machine decryption, led the effort with Thorne. "It's not a language like ours," Petrova declared, her eyes red-rimmed from staring at screens. "It's topological, contextual. The fractal configurations are the syntax. The light pulse sequences are semantic units embedded within that structure. It encodes information in geometry and energy states, not linear symbols." Thorne nodded, sketching diagrams. "It's a physical manifestation of mathematics. The probe is a teacher, or a library. That first response was a handshake protocol. It mapped our sensor's capabilities and sent a primer, a Rosetta Stone based on universal constants, pi, prime numbers, atomic hydrogen transitions. They began the painstaking process of dialogue, using Orion N's projectors. They pulse sequences of prime numbers at specific surface coordinates. The artifact responded by reconfiguring the fractals in that area into complex harmonic progressions. They projected a simple image of the solar system. The artifact responded with a stunningly accurate 3D light map of the local galactic arm, highlighting Earth's star and several others, including a binary system 200 light-years away. Its likely origin point, deduced from trajectory analysis. The binary system wasn't on any human star chart. The message was clear. "We came from there. We see you are here." Chapter 6. The Library Opens. November 1st to 15th, 1967. As the dialogue progressed, the artifact began transmitting complex data packets via focused microwave beams directly to the probes. Decryption revealed not technical schematics, but something profound, a vast archive of context. Astronomical records, detailed stellar cartography spanning millennia, showing stellar motions, supernova remnants, and gravitational wave signatures far exceeding human observational history. It confirmed the age of the probe, over 1.2 million years old. Biological data, not DNA, but complex molecular matrices describing the builder's fundamental biochemistry, silicon lattice-based, utilizing high-energy radiation as a catalyst metabolic process. They weren't carbon-based, not water-dependent. They were denizens of high-radiation environments, asteroid belts, neutron star accretion disks, perhaps, philosophical fragments, concepts encoded as complex geometric proofs and energy-state relationships, ideas of civilization focused on energy efficiency, information preservation across deep time, and the symbiotic relationship between intelligence and its environment. A stark contrast to human expansionism. A recurring motif, the Great Filter, a hypothesized evolutionary/societal bottleneck that prevents most intelligences from reaching maturity or longevity. The builders implied they barely survived theirs. The Silence, a poignant data set. Maps showing thousands of star systems that once showed signs of emergent intelligence, radio bursts, atmospheric alterations, all falling silent within short cosmological timescales. A graveyard map. The artifact itself was part of a vast, ancient network of similar probes, scattered as lighthouses and archives, listening, waiting, mostly hearing nothing but the hiss of entropy. The Fermi paradox, illustrated with heartbreaking clarity. The filter was real and relentless. The revelation hit the scientific teams like a physical blow. The artifact wasn't just alien, it was a monument to cosmic loneliness and fragility. Human history, with its wars, empires, and near annihilations, suddenly seemed like a desperate, adolescent struggle against an indifferent universe prone to extinguishing fledgling flames. Chapter 7: Fractures in the Truce, November 16th to 30th, 1967. The initial awe curdled into tension. The sheer scale of the archive, the implications of the Great Filter, and the artifact's passive, ancient nature fueled divergent interpretations and agendas. Scientists, East and West, argued for preservation, deep study, and cautious attempts at more complex communication. The artifact was a university, not a weapon. Understanding the filter was key to humanity's survival. Military, USSR, saw a potential technological goldmine. The radiation-hardened materials, the energy manipulation hinted at in the light projections, the exotic computing paradigm. We must retrieve a sample, reverse engineer it. This is the key to ultimate strategic superiority. Brezhnev, pressured by hardliners, pushed Volkov to prepare a manned Soyuz mission for capture. Military, USA, feared Soviet capture more than the artifact itself. Admiral Connolly advocated for Orion M to deploy a shaped charge to cripple Soyuz L if it attempted capture, or even to destroy the artifact to deny it to the Soviets. Better dead than red, echoed in secure briefings. Ideologues, on both sides, fundamentalists decried the artifact as godless, demonic, or a capitalist communist trick. The very idea of ancient, non-human intelligence threatened anthropocentric worldviews. The Geneva Accord began to fray. Secure comms between control centers became terse, accusatory. Soyuz L maneuvered closer, its manipulator arm reprogrammed for a grasping maneuver. Orion M moved to block, deploying its smaller arm defensively. Ground controllers shouted conflicting orders. In the CERN data center, Thorne and Petrova watched the telemetry feeds in horror. "They're going to break it, or start a war over it," Thorne yelled. Petrova, tears of frustration in her eyes, had an idea. The artifact responds to intent. Complex patterns. We need to speak to it, not just study it. Show it this. She gestured at the screens showing the two probes posturing like angry insects. Show it what we are. Chapter 8: The Choice, December 1, 1967. Ignoring protocol, Thorne and Petrova hacked into the Orion M's control channel with the reluctant help of a sympathetic engineer. They bypassed military command and sent a direct instruction to the probe's projector. They didn't send primes or hydrogen lines. They sent a complex, synthesized light pattern based on the artifact's own fractal language, a pattern encoding the concept of conflict, division, fear of the unknown, derived from human historical records fed into their decryption algorithms. They directed it at the area where Soyuz L's manipulator hovered menacingly. The artifact reacted instantly. The entire surface rippled. The fractal patterns dissolved into chaotic, dissonant swirls of light, radiating palpable distress. A powerful, multi-frequency burst of noise, pure, unstructured static, slammed into both probes, overwhelming their receivers and temporarily blinding their sensors. It wasn't an attack. It was a scream of anguish, a rejection. Both probes tumbled away, systems scrambled. In Kaliningrad and Houston, alarms blared. Control was momentarily lost. The silence that followed after systems rebooted was profound. The artifact had returned to its dormant state, the simple 1.42 gigahertz pulse, its only signal. The message was unmistakable. This is unacceptable. This is why the silence endures. Volkov, staring at the chaotic readouts in Kaliningrad, felt a cold certainty. "General Secretary," he reported, his voice devoid of its usual certainty. "The artifact, it perceives aggression. Any attempt at capture will result in its self-destruction or worse, a response we cannot predict. It holds knowledge vital to our species' survival. We must stand down. He risked everything with that statement. In Washington, Thorne made a similar, desperate plea to the president, bolstered by the artifact's visceral reaction. It showed us the graveyard, Mr. President. It just showed us why. We are demonstrating the filter in real time. We must choose cooperation, not just between us, but with it. Chapter 9, The Weight of the Filter, December 2nd to 15, 1967. The near disaster forced a sober reassessment. The manned missions were cancelled. The probes were withdrawn to observation distances. The political heat remained intense, but the artifact's unambiguous rejection of aggression shifted the calculus. The joint science team refocused, chastened. They studied the graveyard maps, correlating the extinguished civilizations with the artifact's fragmentary data on the nature of the Great Filter. It wasn't one single event, but a cascade. 1. Resource depletion and environmental collapse, common on resource-rich planets. 2. Self-destruction through technology. Nuclear, biological, nanotechnological, the power to create outstripping the wisdom to control. 3. Societal stagnation collapse. Failure to solve complex societal problems, inequality, ideological conflict, leading to regression. 4. Cosmic catastrophe. Nearby supernovae, gamma-ray bursts, statistically inevitable over galactic timescales. 5. Failure to achieve sustainable interstellar communication, community. Isolation leading to vulnerability and eventual extinction. Humanity, the data screamed, was precariously balanced between Stage 2 and Stage 3. The Cold War wasn't just geopolitics. It was a potential filter event. The artifact offered no solutions, only the stark record of failure. Its purpose seemed clearer: to warn, to educate, to offer the perspective of deep time. It was a monument urging, choose differently. This knowledge spread among cleared scientists and high-level officials, creating a profound existential unease. What was the point of winning the Cold War if humanity was doomed to silence? The artifact became less a prize and more a mirror, reflecting humanity's precarious adolescence. Chapter 10, The Silent Compact, December 16th to 31st, 1967. A new, more profound accord emerged from Geneva, born not just of mutual distrust, but of shared existential dread, the L5 Compact. 1. Preservation. The artifact was declared a protected heritage site of all humanity. No physical contact without unanimous international scientific consent. 2. Study. A permanent multinational orbital research station, Sentinel Station, would be established near L5 for continuous passive study and communication attempts. Data shared openly, after security review for sensitive terrestrial tech implications. 3. Communication. Efforts focused on deep, philosophical and scientific exchange, not technology extraction. The goal: understanding the builder's perspective on intelligence, sustainability, and transcending evolutionary imperatives like aggression. 4. Terrestrial impact. While not publicly disclosing the full extent to prevent panic, both superpowers initiated secret back-channel talks on nuclear de-escalation, joint environmental monitoring, and establishing protocols for potential future contact scenarios. The artifact became the ultimate confidence-building measure. Building Sentinel Station became a tangible symbol of fragile cooperation. Soviet heavy lift modules docked with American habitat sections. Cosmonauts and astronauts shared cramped quarters, united by the silent, enigmatic presence nearby. Thorne and Petrova, now co-directors of the Artifact Research Group, watched the station take shape from Sentinel's observation cupola. Below, the blue marble of Earth hung in the void, borders invisible. "Do you think they hear us?" Petrova asked softly, gazing at the artifact, its fractal patterns shimmering faintly in reflected sunlight as Orion M projected a complex query about stellar evolution. "Not in words," Thorne replied, "but in choices, in whether we learn to speak a language older than nations, whether we choose to be more than just another brief flicker in their graveyard map." He pointed at Earth. "The real communication isn't with it, Elena. It's with ourselves." The artifact is just the catalyst. The message, the choice, is ours. Chapter 11. Echoes Across Time, January 1st, 1968. The new year dawned not with fanfare, but with quiet vigilance. Sentinel Station was operational. The simple 1.42 gigahertz pulse continued, a heartbeat in the void. The complex dialogue with the artifact was slow, painstaking, a conversation spanning light minutes and conceptual chasms. On Earth, the gears of the Cold War still ground, but a subtle shift had occurred. The back-channel talks yielded the first joint US-USSR satellite monitoring system for nuclear tests. Funding quietly increased for global environmental research. The existential weight of the Great Filter, known only to a select few, acted as a constant, invisible pressure. Thorne sat in his small quarters on Sentinel, reviewing a decrypted fragment. It depicted the Builders' civilization not as a planet-bound empire, but as a distributed network of intelligence embedded within asteroids and comets, harvesting stellar energy, moving with celestial rhythms, their progress measured in millennia-long stability, and the depth of their cosmic understanding. Their triumph wasn't conquest, but persistence. He looked out at the artifact, a silent teacher older than humanity's entire written history. It offered no salvation, only perspective. It showed the universe not as empty, but as a vast cemetery interspersed with rare, flickering lights, lights that often snuffed themselves out. The silence of the cosmos, Fermi's paradox, was no longer just a question. It was a warning etched in starlight and ancient silicon. A challenge. The artifact was a message in a bottle, cast by a civilization that may be long gone, speaking across the abyss of time. We existed, we learned, we endured, for a time. Learn from our echoes. Choose wisely. As Thorne watched the steady pulse on his monitor, a symbol not of threat, but of fragile, enduring existence, he felt a profound responsibility settle upon him, upon humanity. The dawn they faced wasn't just a new year, but the dawning awareness of their own precarious place in a silent, ancient, and unforgiving universe. The real work, the hardest science of all, the science of survival, had just begun. The silence before dawn was ending. What came next depended entirely on what humanity chose to say and do in the fragile light of its own self-awareness. The artifact waited, a silent testament to the long, lonely vigil of intelligence in the cosmos.